Welcome to the Fulfilment Recipe. Each session is split into two halves, an audio file which explains the theory and the underpinning knowledge behind the practices which you'll find on video file in section 2. Good luck. The Fulfilment Recipe with Emma Newham. Session 4. Beliefs and Perceptions. Where do our beliefs actually come from? Those repeated thoughts, words and ideas that we hold as true are how we perceive the world around us. They're largely handed down to us from our parents, adopted from friends or peers, shaped by the religion, media, politics, our own morals and values, the laws of the land, the society we live in, our particular culture, and our memories. Beliefs directly influence our behaviour, impacting everything from what we eat, who we vote for, to how we treat ourselves when we're ill. If, for example, you're an environmentally friendly individual who dislikes cruelty to animals, then you may adopt a vegan or vegetarian diet as a result. If you get sick, that may mean you either visit the GP for some pharmaceutical drugs, or do you seek alternative homeopathic routes when you're not feeling 100%? If you're a traditionalist, more conservative, versus a liberal or open-minded person, that will also have an impact on who you vote for politically. How you respond or react to challenging situations, the stresses and traumas of life, and how you deal with the fallout are largely determined by your belief systems. Let's turn back the clock and look at some forms of ancient wisdom. In particular, one branch of philosophy called Stoicism. Stoicism is designed to make us more resilient, happier, wiser, more virtuous, and as a result, better humans. In simple terms, Stoicism teaches us to focus on the things that we can control, like our thoughts, emotions, and actions, while accepting the things that we can't control. So Stoicism really determines how we react to a crisis. Some of our great leaders throughout history have adopted some of the Stoic principles. It's been practiced by kings, presidents, artists, entrepreneurs. There's a great quote from Marcus Aurelius, the Roman emperor, regarding Stoicism and his beliefs, one of which is called, "The happiness of your life depends on the quality of your thoughts." Another he's quoted as saying is, "You have the power over your mind, not outside events." That's one of the guiding principles in Stoicism, that events don't upset you, but your beliefs about the events are what upsets you. So let's say, for example, you lost your job. That might be upsetting as an event in itself. But if you continue to be upset by that event, long since after the event has passed, then it's your belief about the event that will continue to upset you. So say, for example, you say, "I've lost my job." Well, that's a fact. But if you then go on to say, "I lost my job, but that's bad," then that's your belief about the event, and that is what's going to cause suffering. As soon as you label something, "This happened to me and this is bad," then that's going to cause problems for you. If your belief is that you will never ever get a job like that again, with that particular salary, in this particular area, with those kind of people, then that is going to be upsetting. If, however, you think, well, I actually wasn't that bothered about those people that I worked with. It was a bit of a long trek to work, and I could really probably get a better salary. And I was getting a little bit bored with that job. And I'll easily find another job. Then that's a totally different attitude and perception. Similarly, if you split up with your partner or you got dumped, maybe your belief is, I'll never get anybody like that again. I found the love of my life and I'll never experience that kind of love again. Then your belief about the event is going to continue to upset you. The Stoics are saying that there are no good or bad events. There's only perception. Emotions aren't random. If you believe you'll never get another relationship that good or another job that good, then you're going to be devastated. Shakespeare said it well in the following quote: "Nothing's either good nor bad, but thinking makes it so." Most of the bad feelings we have are caused by irrational beliefs. So next time you're feeling any negativity, don't focus on the event in hand, on what caused the event. Just ask yourself, what belief do you hold about the event, and then examine that. For example, if my partner leaves me, I'll never get over it. If I lose my job, my life is over. Just revise your beliefs and change your feelings and perception towards them. Well, even if they left me, I can meet somebody else. I will get over it. Rather than resisting what is happening to us, learn to accept what is being presented. That is mindfulness. Acceptance often means resignation to us, but to the Stoics, acceptance means just accepting the facts as they are and then proceeding from there, deciding what we're going to do. However, oftentimes our expectations of how we want things to be gets in the way. And we often feel like we're settling if we accept the situation, where in reality, we have no idea what could have happened instead. The end of a relationship or the end of a job opens up to some new exciting opportunity which we can't yet conceive on the horizon. So there's no good or bad label. The world is indifferent, objective. It's only our perception. So remember, saying this happened to me is okay, but this happened to me and it's bad is what creates the problems. Remember, there are no problems. It's just our perception of things, our labeling and our interpretation. So visualize this. I use the analogy of a goldfish bowl to describe perception. So we're all going about the world with a goldfish bowl, our own goldfish bowl on our head. And this goldfish bowl represents our belief systems and how we see the world, sometimes like we're blinkered. So remember, how we see the world is shaped by our values, morals, laws, society, and everybody's goldfish bowl is different. How they see the world is different. So take this example. There are 10 people in a room, and they're on the first floor of the building. And they hear a noise outside. So they go to window and they see a fight breaking out. And there's about 20 people involved in this fight. Young, old, black, white, different ethnic religions, different types of clothing, different appearances. Now these 10 people that are watching the fight, when the fight is over in a few minutes' time, they're going to go into a different room where they meet another 10 people. And each one of them is going to tell the story of the fight that they've just looked at. What's the chances of those 10 people giving exactly the same account to those next people that they meet? Well, it's highly unlikely. because you may have been watching one particular part of the fight on the right-hand side, as opposed to somebody watching the centre of the fight or on the left-hand side. So it depends which part of the fight that you're looking at. What will also come into it is any preconceived ideas, any prejudice, any bias. Maybe if somebody, doesn't like this particular race, culture or ethnicity, then their story is likely to be coloured. They're likely to tell it and relay it in a certain way with a coloured filter on it already because of our biases. Even our memory comes into it. You might think you remember the sequence of events, but in reality, our memory isn't as good often as we think it is. An example of how our preconceived ideas influence how we see the world is taken from Dr. Wayne Dyer. He uses the guy walking down the street who is brand new to the area, who stops Dr. Wayne Dyer and says, "Hey, I've just moved to the area. I'm just wondering what the people are like here." And Dr. Wayne Dyer says, "Well, what are the people like where you came from?" And he says, "Oh, they're really friendly, go out of their way to help you, really nice people." And Dr. Wayne Dyer says, "Well, that's pretty much what you're going to find here also." And he carries on his walk. And he meets somebody else, also new to the area, who stops him and says, "Hey, nice to meet you. Hey, tell me, what are the people like in this vicinity?" And Dr. Wayne Dyer says, "Well, what were the people like where you came from?" He said, "Oh, they're really just so unfriendly, cold. Nobody speaks to you. Yeah, just not nice people, really." And Dr. Wayne Dyer says, "Well, that's pretty much what you're going to find here also." Meaning, we get what we look for. If we have a tarnished lens with which we see the world, then those preconceived ideas literally manifest. As a result, we see the world through that narrow mental lens. So if our beliefs come from others, then the question is, do they serve you? I'm also going to use an example from Dr. Wayne Dyer, and it's the salmon story. And he's meeting his friend for coffee, and his friend says to him, "Wow, I've just been down to that brand new restaurant downtown last night with my wife, and you got to try the salmon. I mean, it's unbelievable. It's outstanding. Never tasted salmon like it. Got to try it." And so Dr. Wayne Dyer says, "Right, yeah, wow, I'll book a table." He goes home, switches on TV, and there it is on the local news. The head chef of this brand new restaurant talking about the salmon. And even some of the customers are now raving about this salmon. So he's now getting a second hit of how good this salmon really is. Then his wife comes home with the local newspaper, and there is the food critic really bigging up this salmon, saying you've got to try it. It's like nothing you've ever experienced before. So he's now getting a third hit. So now he's really believing that this salmon is out of this world, to such an extent that people he talks to, people he meets, he's saying, if you go downtown, make sure you get a reservation at that local new restaurant, and you've got to try the salmon. It's fantastic. It's fantastic? You've never even tasted it yet. But it's the beliefs that come from outside of ourselves, that are influenced by other people to such an extent that we are now raving about a salmon that we've never even tasted. And that's the thing. It's the belief of others. Now, so he goes down, books a table with his wife, and they're sitting there desperate to try this salmon. It arrives, and he's got such an expectation in his head, and he kind of like, oh, kind of disappointed. It's kind of falls flat. He had such high expectations. And even his wife said, well, I don't really know what they're all raving about, because I can make salmon this good. And that's the thing. If you are believing others, then without actually experiencing it yourself, then you can't make it your knowing. You make something your knowing, you have a direct experience of it. And then you can make a judgment call whether you like it or whether you don't. Otherwise, it's just the beliefs of others. Let's talk about limiting beliefs now. A limiting belief is a belief that you have about yourself that may limit the amount of action that you'll take. It's a negative belief about yourself. So I'll give you a very basic example. If my belief is I won't win the lottery, then I won't bother going out to buy a ticket. So that's a self-fulfilling prophecy now, because I can't win the lottery because I'm not even in it. I've got to be in it to win it. And so now that reinforces the original belief that I definitely won't win the lottery now. But many people have limiting beliefs about themselves. And a common one is that I'm not good enough, I'm not lovable, I don't deserve, I'm not worthy. Now, the first thing to do is question where that belief actually comes from. Is it yours? The author Louise Hay commented that in decades of treating people that didn't love themselves or didn't accept themselves, that there was never ever one good reason that they themselves could find for not being lovable or not being deserving or not being worthy. So it's time to question not only where your beliefs comes from, because these often originate from the people around us and the relationships that we have. Maybe it was an abusive relationship or a domineering parent. Does your belief serve you? Well, if it's limiting, then the answer is a definite no. And it's time to change the beliefs. The thing that you have to remember about beliefs is the fact that they aren't real. It's just a set of ideas that we've chosen to take on board that resonate with us as real. For example, in the West, we value monogamy, the state of being married to one person at any one time. In the East, certain cultures value polygamy. A man may take many wives. Religion is a prime example of belief systems. For something to be real, it has to be true for everybody. Fact. It can't be true for you, but not me. So take religion, for example. What a Hindu believes might be different from a Sikh, or somebody that believes in Islam or Christianity. All of the beliefs are slightly different. So how can it be real if it's true for one group but not another? Facts are real. Nobody can argue with the fact that the sun rises every single day. It doesn't matter where you live in the world or what you believe, where you're from, your culture. It's got to be true for everybody. So if it's true for one set but not another, then it's a belief, and beliefs can be changed. Beliefs are given to us within the first 6 years of our lives, while we're being programmed largely from watching our parents. Therefore, we tend to adopt the attitudes and the values of our primary carers. You may have come across the book Rich Dad, Poor Dad. And in this book, which is about money, there's this kind of subliminal message regarding attitudes. Let's say you grow up in a rich family. There's an expectation and a belief upon you that you are going to succeed and do well in life and become rich also as a result. Maybe you go to the top universities. You get a 6-figure salary in a high profession, such as a doctor or a lawyer, for example. You're highly unlikely to end up homeless or destitute or poor if you grow up in a rich family. Conversely, if you grow up in a poor family, it's very difficult to break that cycle of poverty. And largely the expectations tend to be low. And we take on board the beliefs of our parents. And you hear it in some people's attitudes. Who do you think you are, getting ideas above your station? It keeps us down. University, it's not for the likes of us. So these become standards by which people order their lives and make choices. Because values are stable, long-lasting beliefs, and our attitudes are formed from our beliefs and our values. But belief systems arise through experience. What works for one person may not work for another. For example, a friend might have lost weight doing a particular method of exercise, and they may have adopted a particular diet, and they've shed a few stones as a result. So their belief is that this really does work. However, if they tell a friend and another person tries this particular diet and exercise, it may or may not work for them, because often it's limited to a particular person at a particular time under a particular set of circumstances. Not one size fits all here. So our beliefs are the stories that we tell ourselves to define our own personal reality. It's really how we make sense of the world, and it's that invisible force behind our behaviour. I was watching a programme on TV on the BBC recently, and it was one of those programmes, something like Trust Me, I'm a Doctor. And one of the experiments that they did was they took a group of people who were on long-term painkillers, maybe of 10 years or more, largely people with back pain. And the researchers went in and they said, just keep a graph, a chart of your daily pain. And so what they did is they had to write a number on this graph, on a scale of 1 to 10, for example. Today, my pain level is a 9. And then the next day, maybe it's only a 7. And the graphs kind of largely zigzagged up and down with no particular pattern to them. Yet their pain was still very, very much there, up and down on a daily basis, despite still being on long-term painkillers. So the researchers said to the group, now we're going to give you a brand new painkiller, but we're not going to tell you who's actually got the real deal, this brand new wonder drug, and who we're giving a sugar pill to, because we want to eradicate the placebo effect. So the people went out and they still had to keep a same graph of their pain levels on a daily basis. And one of the guys that really stuck out to me was probably in his 50s, and he was in a wheelchair. And his whole demeanour, he kind of looked like the weight of the world was kind of dragging him down. And he was really missing his old life where he'd love to go out sailing on his boat. And none of that happened anymore for a long, long time due to the level of pain in his back. And he started to take these painkillers, and almost immediately he started to feel a massive difference. And the cameras followed him round, and eventually he became so free of pain that he was able to get out of his wheelchair and start walking again. And it's like he got a new lease of life, to such a point where the next scene you saw was that he was on the high seas in a boat with his family. absolutely loving life. And he was so grateful. One of the guys who was convinced he was on the new wonder drug. So at the end of the trial, the researchers brought everybody back together. And it was almost a 50-50 split, with half of the group saying they had a marked improvement and the others had not really much change at all. So the researchers said, if you think you've had the real deal, please sit over here. And if you think you've had the sugar pill, please sit over there. So the group split themselves in two. The guy who was prior in the wheelchair prior to the experiment sat on the group that he was convinced he had the new wonder drug. So the researchers then revealed that everybody had been on a sugar pill. And the guy's face when you saw him, he just couldn't believe it. So they were proving that if you are told something and given something that you are told is going to work for you, and you believe that it does because you trust the person, like a doctor or somebody who you respect, then you are much more likely to buy into that, and it's just going to change your mindset. So they were proving the placebo effect, which is really very powerful. However, not many people know about the nocebo effect, which is actually the opposite of the placebo effect, where that describes a situation where a negative outcome can occur due to a belief that whatever the intervention is going to cause harm. So placebo or nocebo, it's all down to the power of our beliefs. Consider the nature-nurture debate. Nature refers to genetics, while the belief systems are the part of the environmental side of the coin. It's gained from what others say to us, the news, what we read, and other external influences. What then happens when we're exposed to a different environment? Well, this is when our core beliefs can be effective. Sometimes we know this as a culture shock. Years ago, I travelled from the UK to live in India for a time in an ashram to learn yoga. And that was a great culture shock because everything is really removed. You're essentially removing the ego. Everybody wearing the same uniform of yellow t-shirt, white pants. The day was very structured from morning till evening. All control and choice essentially removed. Exposed to Hindu philosophy and a yoga, very simple, quite frugal way of living. And that is a culture shock. And that makes you question your core beliefs that you've grown up with. And these beliefs might not change overnight. But with continued exposure, almost drip feeding, then your core beliefs start to change or can change. And any disruption in your belief system is really a chance for growth, an opportunity to reevaluate. And it only needs a change in one belief to affect the whole belief system as a whole, because all of our beliefs are interconnected. In his book, The Biology of Belief, Dr. Bruce Lipton discusses epigenetics, which is the study of how our behaviours and our environment can cause changes that affect the way our genes work. He says that our consciousness looks at our genes and adjusts it to fit our vision of the world. So if we have a negative vision of the world, then negative chemistry comes out in our body. Fear chemistry produces stress hormones, factors that regulate the immune system, basically that shut it down, that come out in fear. And the blood in a state of fear has chemistry that does not support vitality. It shuts down our system, and in protection, you wall yourself off. Conversely, If we're in love, we have chemistry that comes out in our blood to support that, such as dopamine for pleasure, oxytocin to bind you with that source, vasopressin, a hormone that makes you more attractive to keep your partner, and growth hormone. And if you make a cocktail of all of these hormones, then your cells really thrive. So love gives you growth, and fear shuts off your growth. The vision of love and fear is what determines the chemistry, which in turn determines the genetic activity. But our thoughts are manifesting not just our interior life expression, but also our behavior that influences our life in the outside world. If our beliefs have the power to affect our physical health as well as our mental health, then we really need to start questioning our beliefs and challenging any negative beliefs that we have. So let's ask ourselves a series of questions. Number 1, which were my core beliefs that I'm now starting to question? And why have I started questioning them? Number 2, which beliefs, ideas and habits have I been exposed to recently that I really want to ingrain deeply into my psyche? Perhaps you started to meditate or go to yoga, and you really want to ingrain those habits into your daily life. Number 3, which beliefs do I hold that are stopping me from making progress in the direction that I'm looking for? Earlier, we discussed limiting beliefs and how they can hold you back. A lack of self-belief or self-worth are really common limiting beliefs. I'll go back to what Louise Hay said, that she could never find a good reason amongst anybody who didn't feel that they loved or accepted themselves for not loving or accepting themselves. You know, they could never come up with, oh, well, I'm too stupid or ugly or fat. It just wasn't a good reason. In fact, she discovered something over the years of treating clients for various different problems. They might have an issue over here in this area of their life. And she found out that if she treated that issue directly, then it may resolve itself. But in time, another issue would arise. Then she'd have to treat that. And this was a pattern amongst all of her clients, young, old, didn't matter where they came from. She worked out, if I treat what they're presenting, the problem that they're presenting to me, then yes, it may go away, but a different problem would then arise. And this happened with all of her clients until she worked out that if I do just one thing, then all of the issues would resolve or wouldn't even arise in the first place. And that one thing she told them to do was to love and accept themselves, to have some self-belief. Number 4, which environments can I expose myself to during this period of time that will help me to grow in the direction of who I want to become? So surround yourself with high vibe people who are going to big you up instead of tear you down. And number 5, who was I until now? Who am I right now? And who do I want to become? For most people, their belief system is this invisible force that's influencing their behavior without them even noticing. Become aware of how your beliefs affect your behavior and consciously shape your belief system and how it develops. Your behavior and habits will follow. I urge you to challenge any limiting beliefs that you might have and examine their origins. Perhaps you didn't live up to the expectations of a parent or caregiver. Maybe you were put down by a previous partner or ex-spouse. Words can hurt if we choose to believe them. Let me give you an example of the power of words. A teacher comes to school full of hell. Maybe he's having difficulty at home, or he's got some kind of stress or trauma that he's got to deal with in his life. And his mind's not really on the job, and he's in a bad mood. And maybe he takes it out on one of the kids. In his rage, he might call one boy stupid or thick, or tell him he'll never amount to anything. If a child is young and impressionable and vulnerable, therefore, the power of words from somebody in authority who is supposedly knows what they're talking about can really hurt and cut deep. Maybe the teacher doesn't even really think that. He's just venting his frustrations on the nearest child. But regardless of whether the teacher does or doesn't think that this child isn't clever, is irrelevant. The fact is that when it's a single comment, it makes a certain impression. If that child is not mentally strong, then he may take on board those comments and actually believe he's not clever. That may in turn in the future affect his grades at school, because if he believes he's stupid, then he may not bother revising for his exams. Why would he? What's the point? I'm not going to get those grades anyway. I'm not clever enough. That may then typically spill into applying for low-grade jobs if he believes he's not clever enough to get a good job, or maybe he won't go to university or college. When he is in the workplace, maybe he doesn't apply for certain promotions because he believes he won't get them. He's not clever enough, he's not smart enough, he's not intelligent enough. All from one single comment made from a teacher at school who may or may not have meant it. And it could be one comment, or it could be a series of comments drip feeding over a period of time. And you might see this in relationships, particularly abusive relationships, comments on appearance, for example. That stick over a period of time where somebody kind of loses their self-esteem and their self-confidence as a result, and they start to believe that they really are ugly if that is what they are being told. And until the individual breaks the cycle, it's going to be very difficult to get out of that pattern of relationships. So often we see this manifest in one relationship's ends, and then they go into another relationship with a different human being, a different facade, but it's the same kind of pattern starting to play out again. And this is generally because the belief, or the old belief, that they are not good enough, they're not lovable, they're not pretty enough, or whatever enough, is still in their subconscious mind. So the beliefs have to change, and when the beliefs change, then the type of relationships that they'll then attract in the future will also change. Lessons in self-acceptance and self-belief and self-worth often comes from situations regarding rejection. Feeling unworthy is often a result of social conditioning. So we have to learn self-acceptance. It's one of our life lessons to discover that you're special. In order to discover the gift of self-love, we're often placed in situations with people that perhaps belittle us. The circumstances may become so intolerable that we have no choice but to walk away or do it differently, break the mold, and learn the lesson of self-love. A change in beliefs and attitude and perspective is all that's needed. Viktor Emil Frankl was an Austrian psychiatrist and Holocaust survivor. He had a great quote about changing your attitude. Frankl quotes, "Everything can be taken from a man but one thing, the last of the human freedoms, to choose one's attitude in any given set of circumstances, to choose one's own way." Frankl was an Austrian psychiatrist and Holocaust survivor who founded the School of Logotherapy, a branch of psychotherapy that describes a search for life's meaning. His 3 years locked up in the concentration camp in Auschwitz dramatically changed his way of thinking and perception of the world. He said that when we're no longer able to change a situation, we are challenged to change ourselves. And I quote, "Between stimulus and response, there is a space. That space is our power. To choose our response. In our response lies our growth and freedom." Now it's time for the practical element to begin. So let's begin just by taking your mind out externally. Just listening to sounds outside of the building. Maybe you can notice traffic. Maybe you can hear the birds. Just allowing your hearing to operate like a radar, picking up all of the sounds around you. And bringing your attention a little closer to home. Sounds inside the building. Maybe people coming and going, voices. And then bringing your attention a little closer to home, to noises within the room. You might be aware of a clock ticking. Maybe the sound of your own breath. And just remember that the only sound that you need to hear for the next hour is that of my voice. So if you hear any external noises, sirens, phones, anything that comes in to disturb your mental peace, try not to get annoyed. Don't get frustrated or distracted. Just acknowledge the noise, register it, and then let it go, coming back to my voice. Now just allow your awareness to scan your body and notice if there's any areas of tightness or tension. And wherever you might feel that you're holding tightness, just sense the possibility of softening from the inside out. Becoming aware of your heartbeat, the rate and the rhythm. And then turning your attention to the breath, allowing the breath to be natural.
And then very consciously lengthen it so that the in-breath is longer, fuller. The out-breath is deep and slow. Continue following your breath, the natural inflow and outflow. Focusing your attention on the long, slow in-breath and slow, deep out-breath. The natural rhythm of the breath. And just become aware of the quality of presence, the here-ness, the now, right here in this moment. Mindful of the sensations of the inflow and the outflow. Now the practice of Yoga Nidra will begin. Nidra means sleep, but remember, you must not sleep. Try to stay alert. Repeat mentally to yourself now, I am aware I'm going to practice Yoga Nidra. I will not sleep. And we begin the practice by stating your resolve, your sankalpa. Try to discover one that is personal to you. Try to discover it naturally. It could be something you wish for. It has to be a short, positive statement in the present tense, such as, I awaken my spiritual potential. Or I am strong, independent and free. Or I am fit and healthy. Discover one that means something to you. The sankalpa you make plants a seed into the fertile soil of your mind to bring about transformation and healing. Now state your resolve 3 times mentally to yourself with full intent, awareness, feeling and emphasis. The sankalpa you make is bound to come true in your life. Now we begin the rotation of consciousness, a trip around the body, allowing your awareness to jump from part to part as I name it. We always start with the right hand thumb. So when I say right hand thumb, mentally repeat it after me to yourself in your head. And at the same time, take your focus, attention, and awareness to that particular body part, without moving any body part whatsoever. Allow your awareness to jump from part to part without getting stuck on any one part. Keep alert, but don't concentrate too intensely. So here we go. Right hand thumb, second finger, third finger, fourth finger, fifth finger, palm of the hand, back of the hand, right wrist, lower arm, right elbow, upper arm, right shoulder, armpit, right waist, right hip, right thigh, kneecap, right calf muscle, the ankle, right heel, sole of the right foot, top of the foot, right big toe, second toe, third toe, fourth toe, fifth toe. Now to the left side. Left hand thumb, second finger, third finger, fourth finger, fifth finger, palm of the hand, back of the hand, left wrist, lower arm, left elbow, upper arm, left shoulder, armpit, left waist, left hip, left thigh, kneecap, left calf muscle, the ankle, left heel, sole of the left foot, top of the foot, left big toe, second toe, third toe, fourth toe, fifth toe. Now to the back. Become aware of your right shoulder blade, left shoulder blade, right buttock, left buttock, the spine, the whole back together. Now go to the top of the head, the forehead, both sides of the head, right eyebrow, left eyebrow, the space between the eyebrows, right eyelid, left eyelid, right eye, left eye, right ear, left ear, right cheek, left cheek, the nose, tip of the nose, upper lip, lower lip, the chin, the throat, right chest, left chest, middle of the chest, the navel, the abdomen, the whole of the right leg, the whole of the left leg, both legs together, the whole of the right arm, the whole of the left arm, both arms together, the whole of the back, buttocks, spine, shoulder blades, the whole of the front, abdomen, chest, the whole of the back and front together, the whole of the head, the whole body together, the whole body together, the whole body together. Please do not sleep. Total awareness. No sleeping, no movement. The whole body on the floor. Become aware of your body lying on the floor, perfectly still in this room. Now become aware of your breath, feeling the flow of your breath in and out of your lungs, without trying to change the rhythm. No effort involved. Now focus your attention on the movement of your navel and chest. Your navel is rising and falling slightly with each and every breath. It expands and contracts. So we're now going to count the breath backwards from 27 down to 1. It goes like this. As I say 27, abdomen rising, you breathe in through the nose, allowing the abdomen to fill with air. And as I say 27, abdomen falling, you breathe out through the nose, allowing the abdomen to flatten. I'm going to count you from 27 down to 20. And then you're on your own. After that, counting by yourself until you reach breath 0. This is the part of the meditation that requires the most concentration, because I will go silent, so you'll need to focus your mind on your own counting. And if you lose count, you must go back to 27. So we begin. 27, abdomen rising. 27, abdomen falling. 26, abdomen rising. 26, abdomen falling. 25, abdomen rising. 25, abdomen falling. 24, abdomen rising. 24, abdomen falling. 23, abdomen rising. 23, abdomen falling. 22, abdomen rising. 22, abdomen falling. 21, abdomen rising. 21, abdomen falling. 20, abdomen rising. 20, abdomen falling. And from breath 19 down to 0, you're on your own. Gently now cease your counting and just become aware of the following sensation. Heaviness. Awaken the feeling of heaviness. The sensation of heaviness all over the body. Your very bones are heavy. Heaviness in every single part of your body. Feeling so heavy that you're sinking into the floor. Your head, your limbs, your torso becoming heavier and heavier. Awareness of heaviness. heaviness. Lightness. Awaken the sensation of lightness. The head, the limbs, the torso, feeling so light. You feel like you're floating away from the floor. A feeling of weightlessness, light as a feather. Feel like you're rising higher and higher away from the floor. Cold. The experience of cold. Awaken the experience of bitter cold in the body. Imagine you're outside in winter. The cold breeze whipping around your body. Your hands are cold. You shiver. Your feet are cold and numb. You have goosebumps all over your body. You feel cold all over. Bitter cold. Experience the chill, as if this chill is permeating your entire body. Awareness of coldness. Awareness of coldness. Heat. Awaken the experience of heat. Awaken the sensation of heat. And allow that sensation of warmth to spread throughout the entire body. Imagine the heat of summer when you're out in that midday sun, no breeze, no shade. That heat radiating down on your body, warming your bones, energizing you. Heat all around the body. Your skin is hot. Body is hot. Awareness of heat. Awareness of heat. anxiety. Recollect any experience where you felt anxious or nervous or worried. Allowing that feeling of anxiety and stress in your mind and body. Not necessarily concentrating or focusing on the source of anxiety. Just create the feeling and experience of being anxious, stressed, or nervous as clearly as possible. Whether the source is mental or physical, just recollect that feeling of anxiety. Concentrate. Trying to relive the experience of anxiety. Calm. And allow the feelings of calm and relaxation to envelop your body and your mind. Manifesting the experience of calm in the body, mind, and spirit. Allow these feelings of calm and relaxation to permeate your entire body, growing bigger and bigger, making this sensation of calm very vivid. You are relaxed and aware, and you're completely calm. Now withdraw your mind and become aware of that dark space behind your closed eyes. You can imagine this space in between the eyebrows, the eyebrow center. This space is called Chidaksha. And as you focus your mind's attention on this dark space, just become aware of anything that arises within this space, be it colors, images, or patterns. Whatever manifests in this space is just the manifesting state of your own mind and your psyche. Do not become involved. No need to analyze, interpret, or intellectualize. just to step back and practice detached awareness only, like a witness watching a movie. And we now come to the rapid image visualization. I'm going to name a number of different things and try to envision them on all levels: feeling, emotion, imagination, and memory, as much as you can, allowing your body and mind to jump from image to image without getting stuck on any one image. Burning candle, burning candle, burning candle. Vibrant sunset, vibrant sunset. Vibrant sunset. Laughing Buddha, laughing Buddha, laughing Buddha. Red desert, red desert, red desert. Cat stretching, cat stretching, cat stretching. Tall trees, tall trees, tall trees. Across above a church, across above a church, across above a church. Cool water, cool water, cool water. Bouquet of flowers, bouquet of flowers, bouquet of flowers. Endless desert, endless desert, endless desert. Snow-capped mountain, snow-capped mountains, snow-capped mountains. Temple at sunrise, temple at sunrise, temple at sunrise. Your body lying naked on the floor, your body lying naked on the floor. Your body lying naked on the floor. Pink clouds drifting, pink clouds drifting, pink clouds drifting. Stars at night, stars at night, stars at night. Now just imagine yourself walking along a road in the countryside on a warm summer's day. You follow a narrow, winding path. And as you follow the path, it starts to lead into some tall trees. little bit of woodland. You begin to walk into the wood, noticing the sun's rays beating down in between the tall, stately trees. You proceed into the forest, noticing the birds singing, the beautiful flowers, white, yellow, purples and pinks, smelling the beautiful aroma of each flower as you walk by. You're feeling a little hot and thirsty, and you can hear the sound of water from up ahead. So you continue your walk beside the water, and you kneel down. You cup the water in your hands and you splash your face, cooling your body. And you take a little drink, and you feel refreshed once again. You notice some butterflies just in front of you, dancing around, and you walk and follow the butterflies. They seem to be leading you on a little journey. You notice their colors and their patterns and their wonderful movements as they dance around. And you continue along the path, following the butterflies. They're guiding you. As you walk, the butterflies seem to stop, and you notice the entrance to a well. And you look inside the well. It's very deep. A long tunnel boring down into the earth. You notice a bucket, and you start to wind the bucket up to the top. It's a very large bucket. If you like, you can step into the bucket and very gently lower yourself down. As the bucket starts to lower, everything becomes very dark. And you look up and you can see that circle of light at the top of the well. But as you go down deeper and deeper into the well, you begin to hear rustling sounds, the squeaks of small animals. The walls of the well are damp, and you might feel a little uneasy, but you breathe as you lower yourself even deeper into the tunnel. You then begin to see a small dim light below. And And as you reach the bottom of the well, you step out and you follow the light. And you come out through a tunnel onto a wonderful beach. White sands, a turquoise blue-green water, hearing the noise of the waves, the cry of the birds overhead, and the rustling of palm trees. The beach is warm, and the white sand is inviting under your feet. You sit on the sand and you watch the waves with the sun dancing on each wave, glistening, sparkling water. You're transfixed, mesmerized by the sun dancing on the waves. You gently sit up and walk towards the water. It's warm and inviting. You lie on your back and you seem to float. Your body completely supported by the waters of the infinite ocean. Your body rocking gently as a baby is gently rocked. You can visualize yourself as that baby rocking gently. The vast ocean and waters supporting you. Continue this experience of yourself rocking gently on the water. And experience the sound of Om over the infinite ocean. Hear the vibration of Om. Gently bringing your awareness back into your body. It's now time to repeat your Sankalpa, the resolve you made at the beginning of the session. And repeat it mentally to yourself 3 times in the same words, with the same feeling, intent, and awareness that you did at the beginning. Repeat this 3 times now to yourself mentally. Coming back to the feeling of your breath, the natural inflow and outflow through your nostrils. Noticing the slightly cooler air on the in-breath and
and the slightly warmer air on the out breath. Notice the meeting points between your body and the floor. Back of the head, elbows, shoulder blades, buttocks, calves and heels, and try to feel those meeting points equally and evenly. Visualize your body lying here on the floor in this room. And now visualize the room itself and any objects that are around you. Visualize the building and the outside of the building. Notice the sounds around you. Take your mind out completely externally. Starting to wiggle your fingers and your toes. Opening the eyes slowly. And gently roll over onto your side into a fetal position just for a few moments. Taking your time, placing your hands wherever feels right for you. Take a few moments in this position to completely externalize your mind and your body before you come up slowly to sitting. The practice of Yoga Nidra is now complete.
I hope you enjoyed the episode. For further information, resources, or to make a donation, visit www.emmanewhamfitness.com. Thanks.